Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Happy Saturday. I am Coach Ray. Thank you for joining me for today's stick mobility class. So we are still working with barbells. However, we're not going to do anything conventional today. We are actually going to be working on landmine specific drills. So if you like a, first of all, challenging, but also very explosive, very fun class, this is going to be the one for you today. So I have a landmine attachment set up, and let me just go ahead and turn this camera real quick just so you can kind of see it in the corner there. If you have a landmine attachment, perfect, that's great. If you do not, and you do not have a landmine attachment, we can actually substitute the landmine for a stick and a kettlebell or a dumbbell. So I want to go over those variations with you just to make sure that if you don't got a barbell and a landmine attachment or something very secure to drive that barbell into, you can still actually do the class. It's just a matter of utilizing the equipment that we got available to us. So for today's class, we are going to need the long and the short stick today. Our warm-up is actually going to be pretty focused, relatively focused, on mainly getting those lateral lines to activate, because that's what we're actually going to be focusing on today with the landmine drills we're going to be doing. We're not going to go into anything super complex. So long and short stick. We also have a pad for us to kneel on, and I have a kettlebell right there, just so I can actually show you some of the examples. However, let's go ahead and get started with the class. So I'm gonna go with the short stick first, and we're gonna warm up the feet and ankles. And so I'm gonna take a wider than shoulder width stance here. I'm gonna have the bottom of the stick angled in towards me. And what I'm gonna do is have my hands at roughly about chest or sternum height, and I'm gonna get into a nice good horse stance here. Now, from here, I just wanna use a stick for balance. So I'm gonna bring both heels up, nice and high, all 5 toes going into the floor, and then I'm gonna bring them back down, nice and easy. Hover those heels, feet up, good, back down, feet up, hold at the top there, back down, nice, slow and controlled, feet up, good, down, last one, and heels up, good, and down. Now we're gonna go with the right foot only. We're gonna go lateral shift. So I'm gonna bring that right heel up. My left heel is still hovering off the floor, and I'm gonna shift my heel in towards my center line. Again, we're gonna need this stability here from the ankle and warming up. So I'm gonna shift my heel out away from my center line. Now I'm on the pinky toe, shift in, out, in, and out. Back to center, right heel down, left heel up, shift that left heel in, then out, good, in, out, one more time, in, and then out. Back to center, heel down, take a second. I'm gonna grab the pad for us to kneel on, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna actively stretch out and open up those hip flexors or the anterior tissues. We're just gonna do this through tucking that pelvis, squeezing that glute. So I'm gonna go with my right knee down, left leg is gonna be forward here. I'll actually turn to the side. So still going with the short stick, and I have the bottom of the stick in line with the heel or arch of my front foot here, and my back foot is dorsiflex, and I want to keep that foot dorsiflex because that's where we're going to be generating that power. Now from this position, having my hands in front of my chest at chest height, I'm going to drive the stick down about 30% tension, and I'm going to tuck my pelvis and squeeze my right glute, hold for 3, 2, 1, and then I'm going to ease off. We're going to do that again. Stick down, tuck the pelvis, squeeze the glute. 3, 2, 1, ease off. Good. Let's go 3 more. Drive down, tuck the pelvis, squeeze the glute. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Let's go 2 more. Drive down, tuck, squeeze that glute. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Let's go one last time. Down, tuck the pelvis, squeeze the glute. 3, 2, 1, and ease off. We're just trying to work on that hip extension here, folks. So now right leg is forward, left knee is down and back. Again, dorsiflexing that ankle, switch how you stacked your hands. So drive the stick down, tuck the pelvis, squeeze the glute. 3, 2, 1, excellent, ease off. Again, stick, tuck, squeeze that glute. 3, 2, 1, ease off. Good, stick, pelvis, glute. 3, 2, 1, good. Let's go 2 more. Stick, pelvis, and glute. 3, 2, 1, excellent. Last one. Stick, pelvis, and glute. 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Excellent. So we do not need the pad any longer for now. Now we're going to grab the long stick. We're going to get into some slap shot here. So I'm going to take a wide stance. The stance is going to go as wide as whatever is comfortable for you. If you're really mobile, you can obviously go quite a bit wide, right? So stick is behind that mid back. We're going to hinge, keeping the knees nice and soft. And from here, I'm going to rotate the left end down to my center line. And I'm going to pull the stick apart. And from here, I'm going to lunge to my left, really driving off that right leg. And then I'm going to lunge to my right, sink into that hip, nice and deep. It's okay if that bottom arm bends. Lunge to the left. Good. Lunge to the right. Back to center. Switch ends. So right end down to that center line. Pull the stick apart. Lunge to the right. Good. Then left. Feel that adductor starts to open up. Right. Breathe. Left. Good. Back to center. We're going to rotate that left end down. Try to get as far across your center line as you can handle. Pull apart. Lunge to the left. Back to center. Lunge to the left again. Back to center. One last time. Lunge to the left. Back to center. Good. Now we're going to switch sides. Rotate the right end down. Pull apart. Lunge to the right. Back to center. Lunge to the right. Back to center. Last one. Lunge to the right. Back to center. Good. And stand back up. Wiggle those feet in. Excellent. Now we're going to get into the bow and arrow. We're going to add pulling and pushing. So this is what's going to get that lateral line a little active before we actually start to go over the technical aspects of the landmine. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with a roughly hip width stance here. Toes are going to be pointed forward. Bottom of the stick is going to be angled out to the side here. Hand's going to be roughly about waist height. We're going to take that right hand, come up over the top, thumb facing down towards the floor. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive the stick into the floor here. We're actually going to go with more tension than we usually do. Usually I'll say about 10%. We're going to go at 30%. So drive that stick down 30% here. And then we're going to extend those hands out. And as we're in this position, I want you to pull the stick apart on both hands. So pull apart. You're going to really feel that upper back activate. Now compress. Now you should be feeling that left lateral line kind of activate a bit more. Pull apart. And compress. Excellent. Slowly come out. And now we're going to switch sides. And also, remember, you can adjust how far the stick is out based on you and your strength. So, right hand is roughly about waist height. Left hand comes up and over, thumb facing down towards the floor. We're going to drive that stick down about 30%. And then we're going to extend both hands out. Good. Pull apart. Compress. pull apart, and compress, ease off, nice and easy. And then one last thing, let's warm up those shoulders. Let's get into some kayaking here. And I'm gonna place the long stick down, grab the short stick. I'm gonna go with the fingertips at the end here. This is gonna be important because we are gonna be working with some mostly overhead positions with the landmine. At least we'll get to it eventually. Now I'm gonna have my feet roughly about hip width, toes pointed forward, right hand is up, and I'm extending both arms out. I'm going to drive that right hand through, left shoulder comes back, up and over, and then the right shoulder. You want to try to get as much movement out of the shoulder blade as possible. Good, breathe. Excellent, reverse directions. So let's go backwards. Good. And 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Excellent. We're going to place the sticks down. We are now going to work on the technical aspects of the landmine drill. So the first thing we're going to do is learn what the landmark is. A landmark is going to be the point. And when I say the landmark, I really want you to remember that term. It is a point between where your elbow and your hip connect, right? So that is going to be absolutely key. So I'm actually going to use a squat rack here. This is going to act as a wall. It's better if you got a wall. This is much safer, it's more secure. So what we're going to do here, I'm actually going to, change this angle a little bit more, just so you can kind of see some of the detail. Now, this is going to be the wall here. So this is on my left side, so my left foot is closest to that wall. Now what I want to do here is I'm going to take my left foot and I'm going to bring it behind my right. So I'm actually kind of crossing my body here. My left hand comes up top here, and I'm gonna dump my hip into the wall here. So notice we're creating length on that left lateral side here. This is just the first part of that movement. Now the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to connect that landmark like I mentioned. So what I want you to think about is if you were holding like a like a server plate here, right? Or a shot put. Hold under your chin. And what I want you to do, and I want you to keep your ear close to that left shoulder, to that lengthened side here. You're going to take that elbow, you're going to bring it down to that front part of your hip, that ASIS. Bring it here and pack it in nice and tight. Now we're going to go through the activation. So driving that elbow into the hip, we're now going to drive the hip up into the elbow. So my right foot is going to, or my right heel is going to come up. So from here, I'm going to drive that right hip up into my elbow. You should be feeling those obliques and lat engage. Hold for 3, 2, 1, ease off. Good, we're going to do that same thing again. Connect the landmark, elbow to hip, drive that hip up. 3, 2, 1, excellent, ease off. We're gonna go one more time. Elbow, so landmark, drive that right hip up. Hold, 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Excellent. You should, again, feel the obliques, lats, those lateral tissues all turn on as we do this here. So now I'm gonna switch over to the other side. So now my right hip is in closer to the squat rack or closer to the wall here. Right hand comes up. I'm going to take that right foot, place it behind my left, dump that hip in, right? And I want that hip to be on the wall. Again, we're trying to create as much length on that side as possible. My right ear is close to my right shoulder. Left elbow comes to that landmark on that left side. All right, now we're going to drive that hip up into that elbow. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Ease off. We're going to go 2 more. Connect your landmarks. Drive that hip up into that elbow. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Ease off. Let's go one more time. Connect your landmark. Drive that left heel up. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. And ease off. Wonderful. Now, you should be feeling like your lateral chains are super active here. Very, very active. So I want you to remember that landmark, because that landmark is going to be important as we actually get into the drills. The very first thing we're actually going to focus on is simply getting that landmark to connect and learning how to switch. So I'm going to change the angle. Now, this is where, if you do not have a landmine or a landmine equipment to have a barbell attached to, what I want you to do is I want you to use a stick. And what you would do is you would use a long stick here. Okay? Now with a long stick, you drive it into a corner of a wall. So that's something that you can actually manage. You do not want to do it on the floor, because as soon as you create what's called forward intent, or shifting your weight forward, this is going to slide. We do not want that to happen. You want the stick to be into something very, very secure. So make sure that you have the corner of a wall to put the bottom of the stick into as we actually go into this drill here. Now, the first part of this drill is going to be making sure that our feet are square. So we're going to pick up the barbell, and something I want you to pay attention to is my hand position. I'm not going to hold here, at least not for now. I'm going to have my hands as if I'm doing this. Whoop, sorry. As if I'm doing this. And then we go ahead and grab the barbell there. So I'm going to have the barbell right in line with my center chest. I'm going to wrap my hands around. Now, notice that I'm already at a little bit of an angle. I'm going to create more of an angle. So I'm going to get my feet back a little further. So this is what we call establishing forward intent. I do not want my chest on the barbell. I want my chest away from the barbell. If you're leaning into it, it's not a good thing. Now, what I want you to think about doing here is I don't want the barbell to move side to side. You are moving around the barbell as we go along here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start with our landmark connected on one side. So from here, I'm going to connect to my right. So I'm going to get my right elbow down to my right hip, driving that right heel up. So I want you to know that something that's really important with this, we're driving from the hip. That is the most important part about this, besides the landmark itself, is you want to drive that movement through the hip. My left hand's over the top, but my left elbow is going to be up. So it's like we're in that lengthened position. We're here. It's effectively that same thing by bringing that left elbow up, and this is that first initial position. Now from here, we're going to switch. So when I say switch from this position, we're going to switch our landmarks. So I'm going to switch over to my left elbow connected with my left hip. Left heel's driving up hard, and my right elbow is up, right? So we're going to start here. When I say switch, we switch. So drive through that left landmark, nice and hard, right elbow up, switch, 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 and ease off. Good. As we switch, we're not only looking for speed, we're looking for how well can you connect the landmark. If your landmark is not connecting, that could just be simply due to anatomical structures, but it should be connecting. It's here to here to here to here. As you're switching, you're driving that opposite hip up and meeting that elbow to that hip. All right, so let's go ahead and do that one more time. Really trying to make sure we stick this movement here. So I'm going to change that angle a little bit more. Right. get into it. So from here, connect that right landmark. And notice we're going to increase speed. I want you to focus on that speed of switching landmarks. That's where the speed's coming from. Right elbow's connected, right heel is up, establishing forward intent, looking down, barbell stays in the center of the chest as you move. Switch, 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 switch. Good. Ease off. Now, your obliques are probably on fire. That's a good thing. So what we're now going to do is we're going to add a little bit more dynamic movement into it. So we're going to do what's called coiling. And what this simply means is that you are actually keeping that one side connected, right? We're not switching landmarks here. We're only keeping that one side connected. So we're still going to be in that, what we just did is called a bladed position. We're still going to be in that bladed position. However, what we're going to do here is as we're in that bladed position, we are going to be stepping back, right? So again, you can still use a stick for this. We're going to get into that bladed position. Left landmark is connected. If that left landmark is connected, this left side does not move. So from here, I step back with that right foot, come up, and I'm driving through that left hip, step back, drive up, right? That side stays connected. Do not move that side. Keep that landmark locked in nice and tight. So I'm going to start on my right side. So I'm going to connect that right landmark, left elbow to, or right elbow to the right hip, and I want to keep it there. I'm starting in that tall position. Now from here, I'm going to step back with my left foot, keeping it connected, right? We're in the lunge position, and step up. That's one. Drive through that hip, hard. Down, up. It's two. Down, up. Three. One more, down and up. Four. Good. We're going to switch sides. Connect that left landmark, left elbow to that left hip, right elbow's high. Keep that opposite elbow high. Connect, drive through that hip, step back with the right, up, one, up, two, up, three, one more time, up, four. Excellent. Take a second. We're going to get to that again. Heart rate's going to increase a little bit. You're going to start getting a little exhausted. But as long as you're doing, connecting that side, keeping it connected for this one, you'll feel those obliques fire. You'll feel the lats fire a little bit too. That's okay. If it starts to get into your back, you need to adjust position. Here's a tip. If you're doing it and you're here and trying to connect, I wouldn't personally suggest doing that. I think it's better to go with a little bit of a rounded flexed position to keep that contact, but to make sure that you're not getting into like your QL and lumbar erectors. Let's go one more time. Just get 4 reps again. Go from here, connect that right landmark, drive that hip up hard. Step back with the left, up, 1, up, 2, up, 3, up, 4. Excellent. Switch sides. Connect that left landmark, drive that hip up hard. Step back, up, 1, up, 2, up, 3, up, 4. Excellent. Ease off. Now, we're going to make this a little bit more fun, and we're going to fully switch legs. Still can use a stick for this one. Now, we're going to start off in that lunge position. I'm going to kick this over to the side, because what I want you to think about here is we're actually going to be switching landmarks, but when you switch landmarks, you're switching your legs fully. So if I start off with my left landmark connected here, and I got the barbell in hand, and I'm starting off in this bottom position because this is the start position here. And if I say switch, we switch feet and switch landmarks. So there is a little bit of jumping, but it's a quick switch between the feet and the landmark. right? So let's go ahead and practice this just a couple times without the barbell, and then we'll get barbell in hand. So connect that left landmark, right hand is up, start within the lunge position, this heel up high, switch, jump, small jump, very small jump, and switch landmarks, switch, good, switch, switch, and switch. Excellent, ease off. As you do that, you should feel like everything is firing. Again, the main focus is to switch the landmarks, not how high you jump, not how fast you're moving. If your speed is increasing, it's only because you are switching landmarks faster, not because you're trying to speed up the movement faster. So let's go ahead and get ready. And I'm actually going to start with my left landmark connected. And so from here, right hand's over either hand. Left landmark's going to be connected. We'll start from this bottom position here. All right, switch, 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 and switch. Good, ease off. Notice, not getting a lot of height, but I'm quickly switching my feet, and I don't want the barbell moving all like this. The barbell stays here. We're moving around the barbell, we're not moving the barbell around us. So really try to keep that in check as much as you can as we go along here. We're gonna do another set again. We're gonna go 4 reps each side. We wanna get that movement down. Then we're gonna add in something a little fun, which is gonna be a press. And it's actually going to be a step press. And so I'll go over that a little bit too. Now, from here, let's go ahead and get connected on that right side. Right elbow down, left hand over the top. Get into position. Switch, 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 ease off. Excellent, good. Now for the press or the step press. This is where things might get a little confusing for people when it comes to the movement. What we want to do is, as we go into that step press, we are stepping back with the same side that we are pressing with. So if we are pressing with our right hand, and which, by the way, if you're pressing with your right hand, you want your left hand over, right? You don't want to be like this and try to find a way to press. That's not how it's going to work. You need to actually have your right hand on the barbell, left hand on top. So when you go to press, and we're going to start off in a square position as we go into that press position. So from here, and I'm in that bladed position, like we were doing in the beginning, and my right landmark is connected, left hand is up, and what I'm going to do from here, I'm going to press. So I'm going to step back with that right foot and connect my left landmark. We are switching landmarks here. You do not need to make that step back big. It's better if you don't. It's better if you make that step back relatively minimal, in the sense of you're not creating a huge split, but you are going to create a split. So if I'm here, connected on that right side, as I go to switch and press, I'm stepping back and I'm connecting that left landmark. And when I come back in, I'm pulling the barbell or stick back down in position. So I'm ready for the next one. So it's going to be somewhat of a rapid fire kind of thing. We're going to do 5 repetitions per side. Go with the speed that you're comfortable with. Now, the movement's going to feel a little tricky. It's going to feel a little weird at first. But remember, the same side that you're pressing with, that leg has to go back, right? We're switching those landmarks. So from here, switch. Here, switch. And we're pressing as we do that. So I'm going to start with my right arm first. Right hand's on the barbell, left hand's over the top. Right landmark is connected, okay? Left hand is up, elbow is up. So from here, I'm going to, when I go to switch, I'm stepping back, pressing, connecting that left side, right? Hold that position for a second, get used to being in this position, and then come back, all right? So let's go ahead and get 5 reps. So start from here, connect that right side, step back, press, 1, pull, step, press, that's 2. Step, 3, step, 4, step, and good. Excellent. Let's switch sides. So connect on that left side here. Right hand is up. Again, slowly go through it. Don't be afraid to go through a couple of practice reps if you need to. You're still using that stick. It's going to feel a little funky, but you'll still got it. You still got it. So from here, get set in position. Switch. 1. Switch. 2. Press. 3. Press. 4. One more. Press. 5. Excellent. Ease off. Take a second. You're going to notice you're a little out of breath. You probably notice that I'm getting a little short on breath here. But this is a really, really good way. You get some cardio. I actually get a lot of cardio with this, to be honest with you. But this is a way to kind of incorporate explosiveness into your training. So you still get that strength training aspect. Obviously, you would add weight to the barbell if you have a landmine attachment. But it's a really good way to work on that explosiveness, work on your timing, work on your connection, actually really work on those lateral lines, because in typical training, or I should say traditional training, we don't really work those lateral lines all that often. So this is a really good way to kind of incorporate lateral line work and also honestly just make it fun. So let's go ahead and do this again. We're gonna start off at a slow pace, okay? I want you to start off with a slower switch. By the 5th switch, I want that to be your fastest one. So we're gonna get in position. Again, I'm gonna start on the right side. Right landmark's gonna be connected. Left hand is up. Drive that hip up. All right, press. 1, press. 2, I want you to progressively get faster. Press. 3, press. 4, one more, press. 5. Good. Switch sides. Left landmark is connected. Press. 1. Press. 2. Press. 3. Press. 4. One more. Press. 5. Excellent. Good. Take a second. Now we're going to do a coil, but we're going to do it from what they call a clean position. Meaning that we're not going to grip the barbell here. We're going to have the barbell in front. Palm is going to be in towards us. Now, if you have a kettlebell or a dumbbell, this is going to be totally fine for you to use, especially if you want a little bit of load. You can make this dynamic in terms of moving back and forth within space. Now, the steps are not that big. So I'm going to show you what it looks like with a kettlebell. I'm going to move this out. Now, if I have a kettlebell in hand, again, that grip that we have on a kettlebell, we are rotating that arm internally. So think about your thumb facing in towards your body, and you want to keep it that way. Whatever side your landmark's connected on, which is going to be opposite of the one that the kettlebell weight or barbell is going to be in, or stick, you keep that side connected. So this is coiling yet again. Now, I'm going to have the kettlebell in my right hand. I'm just going to create a little bit of distance so you actually see as I step forward. I'm going to get into that split position, or lunge position here. I'm going to connect my left landmark here. So the kettlebell is going to be in my right hand. So I'm going to squat down to grab the kettlebell. I want to keep my hand or thumb facing in towards my body the entire time. So connecting that left landmark, driving through that hip, grab the kettlebell, step up. That's one. I'm gonna keep this left side connected, and I can either step forward, or I can step forward with my left, or I can step back with my right again. So if I want to step back with my right, it's gonna be here, then up, 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm actually going to show you what it looks like when you step forward with that side that's connected. So I'm going to switch sides here. Just going to switch sides. We're going to connect that right landmark. Right foot forward, left foot back. Squat down and grab the kettlebell. Step up, 1. Keep that right side connected. Now step forward with the right. Ooh, hard balance wise. And drop back down. Up, there's 2. Down, up. That's 3. That is what it looks like when you're actually dynamic with it. However, again, let's go ahead and stick to the barbell or the stick or the weight. If you want a little bit more load, this is where you grab a kettlebell or a dumbbell to do. I would suggest starting with stepping back first. That's going to be the easiest way to go. Then you can progress it from there. So I'm going to grab the barbell into the barbell here. Right hand is in towards my body, or thumb is in towards my body. My left foot is going to be in line with my right hand here. I'm going to connect that left side, and I'm going to step back. So the position that I'm in is the same height as the kettlebell was. So from here, keeping my right arm straight, left landmark connected, hard, drive through that left hip, step in, 1. Step back, up, 2, up, 3, up, 4. Ease off, switch sides. So now we're going to grip thumb in towards our body. So remember that. If you're gripping like this, it's not going to be the same. So from here, right landmark is connected. You can adjust your feet as you need to. Drive through that right hip hard. Step in. 1. In. 2. In. 3. One more time. In. And 4. Ease off. Take a second. Doing great, folks. Doing great. Let's go ahead and get one last set. Then we're going to get into a quick little cool down. All right. So for this last one, we're going to go 4 reps again. Just make sure that you're connecting that landmark. Make sure you're driving through that hip really, really hard. You want those obliques to fire as hard as possible here. All right? It's the last one, I promise. Or maybe I don't. Just kidding. Just kidding. All right. Right hand on the barbell. We're connecting that left side. All right? Landmark is connected. Step back. You don't need to create a big step. Step in. 1. Drive through that left hip hard. Up, 2, up, 3, last 1, up, 4. Excellent. Switch sides, switch sides. Right side's gonna be connected. Barbell's in the left hand. Step back, drive through that right hip. Up, 1, up, 2, up, 3. One more time, up, 4. Excellent. Wonderful. All right. That is the landmine class for today. Let's go ahead and get into some stretching, folks. So as you start to practice with the landmine, as you start to incorporate some of those drills, granted, take your time because it can get really taxing really fast. You want to start off slow, start to build. So kind of those same progressions we went through, the bladed switch position, and then working on a stepping switch, and then a switch press, so on and so forth. You want to work through all those progressions slowly over time, and you want to get good at one before you really move on to the next. In the sense of, if you feel like you're getting those connections and you're getting the movement down and you're getting it down well, start adding in that other one. So you can make it either a step-by-step process, or you can actually put them together in the sense of a complex, right? One of these days, I'll actually kind of show you guys the complex that we can do. And maybe I'll make that next week's class. So we're gonna go to the floor. We're gonna need the pad. For us to kneel on, we're gonna work on opening up that hip, getting those adductors a bit. And I'm gonna use a short stick. Now from here, make sure you're actively driving this right knee out, right? You don't wanna start to have that knee go forward. You're not trying to internally rotate. You wanna drive this knee back. So I'm gonna have the stick out in front. I'm actually gonna take the stick, kind of place it across. I'm kind of rotate it a little bit, but as I sink into the stretch, I'm going to end up with the stick being in front. Now from here, my back foot or my left foot is plantar flex. So the top of my foot is into the floor here. And I wanna make sure I'm driving the stick down, hands are roughly about chest height, driving my right knee back, and I'm going to sink into my right hip. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Ease off. Let's go one more time. Drive the stick down, sink into that right hip, drive that right knee back behind you. You should be feeling that right glute activate. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Ease off. Let's go ahead and switch sides. So right knee down, left foot out. Again, get that stick kind of across more towards that mid-thigh on that left side here. So hands stack, drive the stick down, drive that left knee back, sink into it. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Ease off. Let's go into it one more time. Drive the stick down, left knee back, sink into it. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. And ease off. Gonna take the pad away. We do not need the pad. However, we will need the long sticks. Let me go ahead and grab that real quick. We're gonna get into a single arm hang here. Again, we just worked those lateral lines, so this is gonna feel pretty good. So now we're gonna stretch them. So I'm gonna have my left foot forward, right foot back in a pretty big split here. I'm gonna have the bottom of the stick angled out a bit, just so I can drop that right hip in, just like we're, again, kind of getting into that landmine position again, right? Left hand's on the stick for added support. I'm going to wiggle my right leg back, drop it down, and then I'm gonna shift my right hip down towards the bottom of the stick. This is gonna feel like a real good stretch here. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Ease off. Let's go ahead and switch sides here. So left hand is up, right hand's on the stick for added support. Drop that back leg down. Now drop that left hip down towards the bottom of the stick. Whew, my left side is tight. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Ease off. Nice and slow. And that, my friends, concludes today's stick mobility class. Thank everybody for joining. I hope everybody had a good class. Wanted to do something fun, but also explosive, right? So again, you can kind of work on adding those into your routine if you like to, and also just kind of practice getting some more explosive work in, working on those fast twitch muscle fibers. So I will catch you all next week. Have a good weekend and stay safe.